What's up, you guys? It's summer where I'm at. I live in Arizona, so it's 1 million degrees, but we're making it. We're going swimming, we're trying to stay cool. In the summertime, a lot of times we're just feeling good, right? We're feeling like things are going good and it's chill and we're all great. But then school around here is starting to start. And so there's these little thoughts creeping up in your head, like maybe last year is going to be like next this coming year, right? Maybe this year won't be as good as I hope it'll be, and you'll have these negative thoughts. And I want to talk to you today about how your negative thoughts are okay. It's okay to have negative thoughts. The problem starts when we start to tell ourselves we shouldn't have them, okay? And you're like, wait, Jody, I thought you're supposed to be all, positive and whatever. And I'm like, no, listen, we don't want to be robots, okay? Have you ever told yourself, like, be more positive, just be happy? And how long does it last? It lasts for a little bit, but eventually, like, you get pulled back down. And I want to explain to you the reason this happens and what you can do instead of just telling yourself to be positive and happy all the time. Okay. So, I don't know if you're the type of person that like you're feeling negative or you're feeling like people have it better than you or people, and then you tell yourselves, yeah, but I should be thankful. Like there's people who have it worse than me, right? And then what does it do? It's like pretend like we have a little pot on the stove and there's some negative thoughts and they're coming up. As soon as we tell ourselves like you're really ungrateful or you should be positive, it's like we put a lid on it. And instead of letting those negative thoughts kind of come up and let go, we're pushing them down. And so they stay stuck. What if we turn the burner on? Like things get hard in our life and we put that shame lid on top of all our negativity. Guess what happens? If you put water on a hot stove and you put the lid on, have you made spaghetti before? Eventually, the water's gonna boil, okay? And it's gonna like boil over. And that's when we try to tell ourselves to be positive, but we're feeling negative, and then we put the lid on and tell ourselves not to feel negative. That's what ends up happening is the water starts boiling over, or we start feeling like we're out of control, or we, get outbursts, right? Or we lose our minds. Like that's why I always tell myself, I'm losing my mind, okay? But here's the way, okay? You are a human. You are going to have negative thoughts, and that does not make you an ungrateful, bad person. What if that's true? What if it's true that it's okay to have negative thoughts? But there's a difference between, shoving them down and putting the lid on it, or grabbing those negative thoughts and holding them and cuddling them and hanging out with them all day. Okay. Like we don't have to shove them down or hold them like they're just facts and true and hold them so dear to us. Okay. So let's look at, you're like, okay, this sounds cool, but also what does this actually look like in someone's life? I'm going to tell you about someone I was coaching this week. He was telling me about how when he's with a group of people, on a sports team, when he's there, he feels like no one actually cares. Like if he wasn't there, no one would even notice. I don't know if you resonate with that, but I felt like that before. It's like, do I even matter here? Right? Like nobody actually seems like they care to talk to me, right? And so that just feels true. Like he's telling me this story that like no, it wouldn't matter if I wasn't here. And here's the thing. That's true and not true. It's true because he's thinking it in his mind, but it's also not true. And we're gonna get to the point where we can see it for that. Okay. So a lot of times what we tell ourselves is, no, that's not true. Everyone, loves you, or I shouldn't be ungrateful, or I should stop thinking about myself. And that's when we put the lid on the shame, a shame lid on top of those negative thoughts. And it just keeps getting worse and it starts boiling up. Okay. But what if instead we get curious? We're just like, okay, like what I like to do is all those negative thoughts that are just kind of like running around in your mind like this, we want to get them out and we want to put them on paper. We want to write down all the thoughts. So for this client, I would say we're going to write down, if I wasn't here, nobody would care. It doesn't even matter if I'm here. I'm not anybody's really good friend, right? Like I don't belong here. All of those thoughts, we're just gonna take them out of our brain and we're gonna put them on a paper. We're not gonna be like, oh my gosh, look at the paper and be like, you're so negative. We're just gonna take a look at it and be like, okay. And there's a couple questions I want you to ask yourself about those thoughts, okay? So we're gonna apply that to this. So we're gonna ask our client, or we're gonna ask ourselves, is this 100% true? Like, is it 100% true that it would not matter that I wasn't here? If I wasn't here. We're like, okay, let me think. I mean, I don't know. Like when we talked about, it's like, do you even know? Because when you're not there, you're not there, right? Like you don't know if it matters or not matters. So, okay, like I see what you're saying, but also, is that 100% true? Probably not, right? Is it 100% true that you know for a fact it wouldn't matter if you weren't there? And we're like, I'm not there, so I wouldn't even know. So I guess that's not 100% true. And then you ask yourself the second question, which is, in what ways is this not true? Like, how is this 100% not true? Let's think. If you weren't there, how is that not true? Well, there's one less person there. Like, what do you do when you're around people? I asked this client, and he's like, well, I try to talk to them. Like, pump people up. I try to help the coach, right? It's like, so you're making a difference, right? So it's actually not a fact that if you weren't true, you weren't there, that it wouldn't matter, right? That person wouldn't be getting a compliment. This person wouldn't be getting help, right? There wouldn't be an extra person to play, maybe give someone else a break. Like, it's actually not 100% true. Okay. And we're just trying to poke holes in these thoughts that we have. These thoughts, we think they're facts. Okay. We think it's just 100% true. Nobody cares if I'm here. But we're just like, we're not like going to grab the thought and be like, don't think that. We're just going to poke holes in the thought. Like, well, I mean, it's not 100% true. I can't know that for a fact. Like, I'm not even there. Number two, how is this not true? Well, I wouldn't be talking to so-and-so and I wouldn't be helping with this, right? So it's not true that it wouldn't matter, right? And then the third question is one of my favorites, which is like, if your best friend or your little sister or your little brother or someone that you really care about said the same thing to you, what would you tell them? And I asked this client this, I said, what would you tell your little brother if they said this? And he's like, he said, well, I get that you feel that way, but it's not true, you know? And it's like, that's what's keeping you stuck, right? When you tell yourself it doesn't matter if I'm here, how do you feel? You feel, our thoughts create our feelings, right? So when I tell myself it doesn't matter if I'm here, I feel lonely, sad, depressed, right? And when I'm feeling lonely, sad, and depressed, it's like I put lonely, sad, depressed gas in your car. How are you going to act? Are you going to be talking to people? Are you going to be looking for someone who needs help? Are you going to be laughing or, making an effort at all? Probably not, right? And then so your actions are not showing up how you would want to, right? And the result for you is you just prove it to yourself true. You're like, see, when I don't engage, when I don't make an effort, nobody cares. And that's just a story we tell ourselves. And I'm not saying, be positive. I'm just saying we're just taking a look at it. And you can hold that thought if you want to. You can hold it and cuddle it and tell myself, like, it doesn't matter. But I want you to know that it's an option to let it go. Not tell yourself it's not true, and you should be more thankful, and you should be grateful, and you should be positive. None of that. We're not putting this shame lid on it. We're just going to open it up, let the thoughts kind of come up, and we're going to take a look at it. We're going to write it out, and we're going to ask ourselves, is this 100% true, what I'm thinking? How is this not true? Poke some holes in your theory, right? And then what would I tell my best friend or someone I care about if they said the same thing to me? And you have so much wisdom inside you. You're going to know what to say. And it's like, guess what? We want other people to tell us you matter. And I want you here. But guess whose job it is? This is like the best and worst news, okay? It's your job. It's your job to make yourself matter where you go. It's your job to tell yourself, guess what? You're loved no matter what. And I'm proud of you for showing up here, even when it's hard. Because the truth is, if it's your job, you're the best one for it. Like, nobody can say it the way that you need to say it except for you. And when you take that job as yourself, when you tell yourself, I matter, and I'm going to show up here and do my best and be a good friend and do, my best to show up how I want to. Guess how you feel? You feel a little bit more optimistic. You feel encouraged. You feel happy, right? How are you going to act when you're feeling optimistic and happy and encouraged? Probably more outgoing, probably smile, probably make an effort, right? And then you make it true. You make your thoughts true. You show yourself, I actually matter. I showed up and I helped this person today. I was a good friend to this person today. And we don't give the power of if we matter to other people. Because the truth is, it's a whole story anyways. Do we even know if it matters? Are you walking up to people and asking them, like, do I matter to you? No, but we tell ourselves a story. Like, here's the funny thing. We think we have control over what other people think about us, but we don't think we have control over what we think about us. That is where you have the most control. If you decide I matter, or you take whatever it is, I'm good enough. Because the truth is, you don't even get to determine that. You are loved and amazing and 100% lovable just because you are here. Just because God made you that way. You don't even take credit for it. Nothing that you do increases or makes you lose your worth. And so when you know that deep in your bones and you remind yourself that you take that job and you're like, I'm in charge. I'm in charge of deciding that I matter, right? Then you can feel how you want to feel and act how you want to act. And then you create it in your life. So the next time you start having some negative thoughts, I don't want you to tell yourself, I know I should be thankful. Like, it's like for me, this is kind of what it looks like. It's like, my life is hard, or everybody has it better than me, or I have to do so much, right? It's kind of like this victim thing that happens in my brain a lot, you guys. I am not like positive all the time. I have to coach myself on this stuff. And I have a coach that I talk to about this. So when I tell myself, like, everybody has it easier than you and you have to work so hard, how do I feel? Like a victim, like weighed down, right? And then what do? This is what I do. I sit and think about it all day, right? I start looking for evidence like, see, this person gets to go here and I don't. This person gets to do this and I don't, right? I look for evidence of it and then I make it true. I make it true that I make it harder on myself, right? It's like, you have to go to work, you have to do whatever. And then you're going to make it harder on yourself by telling yourself how bad you have it. And it's like, okay, instead of telling myself, Jody, you're a coach, you should know better. Instead, I'm just like, how lovable and cute is it that I tell myself that? It's like, it's not that deep, right? It's not that heavy. It's like, my brain likes to tell me that because I don't know, want some sympathy. So what am I going to do? I'm going to decide, yeah, Jody, this is hard. And guess what? You were made for this. What if it's like you give yourself some empathy, you give yourself some love, the thing that you're actually wanting, and then you remind yourself what's true, which is like, listen, welcome to being a human. It's hard. And also, guess what? You were made for this. Your life is turning out exactly how it should. And you have way more to do with it than you think. We are not going to just, give the responsibility to everyone outside us to decide how we get to feel. So I don't want you feeling bad for being negative. I want you to get it out of your head, all those swirling thoughts, put them on a piece of paper, and then ask yourself, is this 100% true? How is this not true? And what would I tell my best friend if they told me this? And you're going to get some leverage over it. It's like, instead of it's just like feeling like a fact in your mind, you're going to see it like, oh, I see what my brain's doing. It's trying to help me out, but it's actually not. And so I can give myself some empathy, like, yeah, this is hard. Now, what do you want to do? Like, and that third question where it says, what would I tell my best friend? That's going to give you that answer. Like, that's going to give you the answer that you're actually needing, which is like, yeah, guess what? I don't click with these people on my team. So what? Does that mean I don't get to have friends or have fun? No. Why am I here? I don't know. To play the sport I want to play. I'm going to focus on that, right? So it's like, we're not going to put our whole experience in the hands of other people. We're going to decide, it's okay that I have negative thoughts, but I have something to do about it. I don't just have to live at the effect of them and carry them around like it's just a fact. It's only true if you believe it's true. And you can show your brain, listen, it's not true in this instance. It's not true in this instance. It's not true in this instance, right? So it's like, I could tell myself I have it harder than everybody, right? And then I could be like, how is that true? Well, I have to do this. I start to make a story for it. But I'm like, how is this not true? How is this not even true? And is this 100% true? Like, no, I don't have it harder than everybody, right? That's not even a thing, right? And how is it not true? Well, lots of people have it harder than me, right? And then what would I tell my best friend? Guess what I would tell her? I'd be like, yeah, this is hard, but guess what? You were made for this. Let's go. And give yourself a break a little bit. Like, take a deep breath, go on a walk, do some nice things for yourself. But telling yourself you have it harder than everybody is only just making it hard for you. Like, go do the thing and tell yourself, I'm amazing. Good job, self, right? And do that thing that you want to do with the feeling of empowerment instead of feeling like a victim. So if you want more help with this, it's easier said than done with yourself, but those 3 questions are gold. Is this 100% true? It's probably not. In what ways is this not true? Show your brain it's not a fact. And number 3, what would you tell your best friend? And that is going to give you the when you talk back to your brain's like, yeah, but this is true. And then that answer to that question is going to be what you tell yourself, which is like, you were made for this. Let's go, right? Okay, if you want more help with this, I would love to help you. Hope you guys have a good rest of the weekend. I'll talk to you soon.